Hey guys, welcome back. So last week I ended the video by saying then next week we'll start putting siding up over this side, but I had a bit of a memory lapse that the loader is actually going up to the dealer this week because out of the goodness of their heart, after we spent thousands and thousands of dollars for this machine, they threw in a free first oil change on it. So it is up there currently getting that done, and hopefully it'll be back by the end of the week, but they didn't give us an exact date for when that was going to be. So needless to say, I don't intend to use ladders to climb up and down to put siding on this upper area, so we are going to hold off on that for another week. So what we're actually going to work on this week is we have two doorways here in the upper area of the mill house. One of them is a people door that we're going to have here, and eventually we'll have to get stairs in there as well. And then the second door is going to be more of a loading door, and it's going to be really wide. It's actually going to have two doors on it, and that way if there's stuff that we want to load up into this upper area here with like the track loader or something like that, we'll have a wider door that I would be able to get the pallet forks in through. Also, I'm going to run a track along this beam right along here on the top, and then I'll have a block and tackle that'll run along that track. So then if there's something smaller that I need to get up here, but I don't have the loader down here, or I don't want to mess around with getting that around, I can just use the block and tackle. I can lift it up outside. Once it gets up high enough, I can just roll it along the track inside the mill house here without having to get out the other equipment. So anyways, we are going to work on building doors this week. Now we don't have the lumber ready to go for building these doors, so we're going to have to mill that stuff up first. It's not that much, so it shouldn't take too long. We do have a cant over here that's 6 inches wide, so we'll use that for some of the boards that we need. But before we do that, we're going to have to fire up the tractor because I did not have the foresight to move the forks out of the way before the loader went back up to the dealer for the oil change. So we got to do that first, then we can get our cant up here on the mill, get some stuff milled up, and then we can get to building some doors. Alright, well, we have most, if not all, of our lumber cut that I think we'll need for doing the doors. And we've got our saw up here ready to go to start cutting some of this stuff to length. Alright, boards are cut to length and we got them moved up here, so now we are going to start attempting to assemble this thing. Alright, I had to take a quick math break there to figure out the angles and the length on my diagonal cross piece on this side. But got that figured out now, so gonna go ahead and get that hooked on and then work on the other half of the door. Alright, we got our other side cut to length here for our diagonal piece. And then what we're going to end up doing, and it's not going to be today, is we're going to take these two halves and connect them together. They're going to kind of sandwich together, and the boards on each half are offset from each other, so that way the seams don't line up, so it'll make a good solid door. Alright, so we're back for our second and final day this week. And we didn't get them out yesterday because it was raining a whole bunch. And I think you can probably hear the creek behind me. And it is really running. It's probably the highest it's been since like last spring. And then also today, I remembered to bring the stapler out. So that way, as I'm rolling this out, I can use this to kind of hold the felt paper in place as I'm going along. I didn't bring that out the other day when I was here. Alright, that's going to do it for the door, at least for the time being. I didn't bring any short screws that I could use to kind of fill in the other areas to hold the two sides together. I forgot to bring those with me, so we won't do that today, but it's basically put together. It'll just be another 5 minutes of work on this thing. So now, we are going to switch around and start working on the doors for this side. Alright, we have the frames of our doors put together. Not the door frame, but the door framed in, or however you want to say it. So we're actually going to put clapboard siding on it, just like the rest of it's going to have, so it'll kind of blend in a little bit for this bigger loading door. It'll just look sort of like the rest of it. So we've got a stack of siding over here that was cut to the specific length for some of the lower stuff, but since we have the lower stuff done, we're going to trim just a little bit of that off so it's the right size for these doors. Alright, we got all our siding cut to length, and before we put that on, this is our little strip of extra house wrap that was additional off from this back part we put on here. And we're going to do the same thing where we're going to put a layer of that down first, and then we'll put our siding on top of that. Alright, well, the sun has dropped down behind the mountain. The wind is picking up. Our doors are kind of finished up there. So I think we're going to call it a day for today. So we've got the loader back. That is returned now. So next week, hopefully, I know I said this last week, but next week, hopefully we should be back to putting up some of the siding here. I don't know of any reason why we wouldn't be, but we'll find out next week, I guess. Just continuing on with that, putting up more of the wrap and then more of the siding. So I'm getting kind of cold, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next week. Well, hello. We just had some deer decide to come trotting right through here. Just, you know, why not? Yeah. You guys paying any attention to me at all? Not really. Okay. Yeah, just do their thing.